Hi, everyone. It is July 12, 2021. There are more fires in California, Oregon, but there are fires in Idaho and Montana. But here, this is the latest and greatest of the fires that, I guess, developed overnight.
This morning, the West is burning. At least 47 uncontained wildfires exploding across the region as 18 million people across the West Coast are under a heat alert. In southern Oregon, the bootleg fire scorching more than 150,000 acres. And overnight in California, mandatory evacuations near Mariposa County. Winds driving the river fire to 4,000 acres. To the north, dozens of homes destroyed in Doyle, California. Fragments of foundations identifiable in the debris, and these cars scorched. The town is now home to the largest fire in the state this year. The Beckworth Complex fire scorching more than 86,000 acres. This blast of erratic winds billowing smoke through the sky, those nearby scrambling for cover. Firefighters working around the clock to stop the spread, but it's a taxing job.
When it comes to wildfires, especially with this heat, what's your biggest concern?
Heat exposure and not having enough resources, because you can fight fire for so long in this heat, but then you have to get some rehabilitation.
Veteran firefighters tell me that these conditions are perfect for another historic fire season, and typically in recent years we've seen fires last all the way up until December here in California. Cecilia.
Such a frightening prospect. Okay, Will, thank you so much. Let's go right to Ginger with a look at the forecast and whether those western states can expect any relief anytime soon. Good morning, Ginger.
Unfortunately, the answer, Cecilia, is no. 117 all-time record tied in Las Vegas over the weekend. 130 in Death Valley, all under this heat dome that is stubborn. It is not going to release. It won't be all-time, but it'll still be very hot. And on top of this, any monsoon moisture that tries to make it up and make a thunderstorm is evaporating before it gets to the ground. So a lot of these don't even get rain, but they do have dry lightning, which starts more wildfires. Drought, big problem in the West. 93% of the West is in some level of drought. Utah, for example, nearly two-thirds of that state is in the highest level of drought. 117 was reached over the weekend in Lake George, St. George, excuse me. And that is the hottest temperature the state of Utah has ever seen. Amy, each degree of heat makes evaporation happen even quicker. As our globe warms, we're going to see more intense drought.
We know.
So there's a lot of fires that they claim are being started by lightning. And I thought that was interesting. Well, because a lot of places are not getting any rain. Oh, it's the heat that's evaporating all of the precipitation before it hits the ground.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Shauna Kalafi. This is where the river fire is burning, right on the Madera-Mariposa County line. You can see Mariposa there, Oakhurst, and then the Highway 49 across the way there. Evacuation orders are in effect for some Madera County residents. That includes Road 800, 810, 812, 600, and Apache Road to Road 612 on both sides. And in Mariposa County, evacuation orders are in place for residents on Indian Peak at Usona to Road 800, Oak Grove Road to Oak Grove School Road to Road 800, and Stumpfield from Leonard to the Madera County line. Let's get to our Adrian Thomas live in Madera County with the latest. Adrian?
Shauna, it's all hands on deck right now for CAL FIRE crews in Madera and Mariposa counties to increase containment on this fast-moving wildfire. We spoke to one couple tonight who had to be evacuated quickly. They say they stayed until the very last minute. Tonight, the river fire rages in the mountains of Mariposa and Madera counties. Firefighters fighting the inferno amid a heat wave and ongoing drought. Ann and Dare Gordon had to evacuate this afternoon and shared with us this extraordinary video of the flames racing toward their home.
Spot fires were starting up in different locations. It wasn't just creeping up one direction. We waited to the very last minute. We were fighting the fire around the house.
The flames are right here at our doorstep, dear, right over here.
Ann and Dare say they quickly gathered clothing and other belongings and tried last-minute efforts to slow the blaze down with a hose and wet towels. But they say the fire was too overwhelming.
Ashes were falling just everywhere. And we finally, he was still whipping at the flames, getting close to the house, 20 feet from the house.
Yeah.
And I just said, we got to go.
The latest update from CAL FIRE shows no structures have been damaged in the fire so far, and no first responders have been injured as they work to protect homes in the area. Here in this remote area of Madera and Mariposa County, CAL FIRE crews have to deal with the difficult hilly terrain full of dry grass, which is one of the reasons why this fire has moved so quickly. And you can see some of the bulldozers here behind me. They're creating fire lines to prevent the fire's fast spread to nearby houses. But given Ann and Dare Gordon's narrow escape, the future remains uncertain.
We had a beautiful house, might be all gone, and what do? You start over. So we don't know what's going to happen until we get back there, maybe tonight.
In nearby Mariposa County, a Red Cross evacuation center has been set up for evacuees at the New Life Christian Fellowship.
We're ready to take on anyone that is evacuated to come here. This is currently a resource center.
Well, I don't feel good about the time coming for an awful lot out west, and may you all stay safe. This is so frustrating to watch this over and over and over again. So some of these videos, well, all of the videos that I'm going to show you are on my playlist, and 2018 July, the West is burning. Latest fires, San Diego County. Every state can make it rain. Every state, California especially, contracts with weather modifiers. The ignorance is so dangerous. People want to remain ignorant. Utah code. Modification of weather. Utah's Division of Water Resources could end your drought by making it rain and put out the fires. Colorado, their Department of Natural Resources engages in weather modification. Increasing precipitation is a common practice. Your drought, dry conditions, low humidity, it's all deliberate. In all of the drought states, the Los Angeles Department of Weather Modification, you have your own weather modification department. Sacramento offers $1 million for El Dorado cloud seeding project. Preparing for next drought with cloud seeding project in California. You can continue believing the lies of mainstream media and government officials, or you could do some research to find out that, yes, they can make it rain. You don't have to have drought. But if they can make it rain, can they deliberately bring drought? Yes. This has been going on for years. It is truly tragic that we have so many people who claim the right with such hostility to maintain their willful ignorance and believe liars. Now, some might say, hey, we don't have any clouds. Well, that's actually true because, oh wow, the clouds are on the eastern half of the country. But I showed this, I think, 2 days ago, or certainly 36 hours ago. All of this cloud in the Pacific, in the atmosphere over the Pacific, and it doesn't seem to want to come into the drought states. This is all nanotechnology right here that you're looking at. We don't have natural weather anymore. Man creates it. What's this long, thick line? Nanobots, militaries. And, this technology is not just exclusive to the United States. Most countries have this technology to create weather. United States, Russia for sure, China, mainstream media reports on China's weather modification projects. Brazil, another country that's a big weather modifier. Many countries have this technology. Middle Eastern states have this technology. So, the willful, ignorant people, just walk away from them. They are a danger to all of us. Now, okay, so you say we don't have clouds. Can they create clouds? They sure can. Artificial cloud proof that I presented in this video. And there's an awful lot of ways that they can create cloud. Now, if they just stopped modifying the weather, well, I'm afraid that would have some pretty dangerous ramifications because they've been controlling it for such a long time. You would have cloud. You wouldn't be in drought. You wouldn't see these fires, nor would you see and have to experience these heat waves. Here, Texas Weather Modification Advisory Board admits it can make a ton of rain. And, I always try to present this in videos so that those who are still denying it have no out. You don't have an out, except for your immature, childish behavior that somehow you think rolling your eyes and calling everybody a conspiracy theorist is okay. It's atrocious, immoral behavior. Just because you have the masses doing the same thing and you get to have all of this as support for your truly disgusting behavior, because people are dying, so that behavior of yours makes you complicit with all of the death and destruction that we are seeing. I don't care. I don't care if there's only 10 people who are speaking the truth in the world. And you got all the other people in the world, the billions and billions, who agree with you. It does not make you right, and it doesn't make you, act like your shit don't stink. It just kind of brings about an awful smell in the world because you're just one of the great, stupid, dangerous mass of people who are walking the planet. Now, climate change? Okay. You don't get that mainstream media is perhaps a 100% now the propaganda arm of our government that just puts out propaganda, lies about climate change, and they're censoring all of the experts that you don't hear on mainstream media because, well, they have checked out that climate change stuff. They've looked into the science of the IPCC, the Intergovernmental. It's not an interscience panel. It's an intergovernmental panel, and they write policy for governments around the world. That policy related to Agenda 2030, United Nations, the takeover of our world. Oh, you can roll your eyes and think, she's crazy. You're just stupid. Dangerously so. Compilation of scientists speak truth about this global warming. It's fraud, data manipulation, not science. And eventually, we're not going to be able to say that on YouTube. They will take us down, just like they're doing with that, what is it that, it's a virus. Can't remember that. No, I can, but dare I say it on YouTube. The censorship. We are not a country that is free, and we do not have freedom of speech because government uses big tech to silence the truth. So here's Dr. Curry. Oh, there's an awful lot of them. And in fact, there's Carrie Mullins. Is it Mullins? Oh, God, I can't even remember. This is the man who got a Nobel Prize for creating the PCR test, who came out and said the PCR test does not diagnose. Oh, I better be careful? Do I have to start this video over again? Because I'm getting dangerously close to saying what can't be said? Well, he's dead now. But here he is. He's talking about that climate change, global warming science. And, well, he's got... It's just a compilation, excerpts of those who know the great lie. Climate change, but it's killing people. It's killing an awful lot of wildlife. I don't like that. And you hardly ever hear about it. This is in Great Barrington, Massachusetts. Back in, oh man, can't even remember. This date is not right because that's when I was in South Carolina. But Great Barrington, Massachusetts, during the years in between 2009 and 2012, I couldn't believe what I was noticing in the sky. And black carbon dust, what can that do? Well, it can allow man to increase the temperature, atmospheric temperatures. Heat waves already, well, that was... When I was living in Great Barrington, I think it was 2011, people were walking around in shorts during the winter in Massachusetts. Okay. All you need to know here, that man can create those heat waves. You know, you have good old weather modification by artificial satellite. Yeah, we've got satellites up there. What can they do? Well, they can increase the heat. Modify cooling, warming, or precipitations of selected regions on Earth. So, this is the CEO of a company that used to be called Acquiesce, and here it is, Acquiesce. This man is the CEO. He has ended droughts by use of electromagnetic frequencies. Doesn't have to put all of the dangerous heavy metals and the chemicals into the atmosphere. Unfortunately, this man, I believe, became targeted. He now either has another company, I'm not quite sure, but Rain Aid Acquiesce. Years ago, he even offered his services to the United States to break those droughts. Well, we declined. Geez, wonder why. So you can check out, this is on the Wayback Machine, of course, because gotta get rid of all of the truth, so people can remain at ease in their willful ignorance. I'll play just a little bit on this video I posted. Uncommon intense storm, and all you need to prove it's manufactured by man.
This man has had tremendous success
breaking droughts with frequencies. And he doesn't use chemicals and biologically hazardous material that we are dying from. All life is dying from. So, here is the CEO of Acquiesce, and he will explain to you how he manipulates the atmospheric rivers.
Technology relies on a signal that we're able to generate that triggers a response from atmospheric patterns. So we're able to observe this using satellite meteorology, extensively available now to everyone who's got access to broadband internet. But we're able to utilize that signal sent in sequence to generate a incremental deviation in the flow path of these oceanic atmospheric rivers. So the source is the ocean, of course. The vapor, precipitable moisture flow is in the atmosphere. The winds drive this with the pressure systems adjusting the path of least resistance. But our technology is able to interface that and hack into it, if you like, and makes micro adjustments to allow deviations to occur in the flow pathways. And this is how we broke the drought in Australia in 2005. This is how we put out the fires of Victoria from Black Saturday in 2009. This is how we delivered rain in the desert in Saudi Arabia in 2007 and snow for the first time in history in 2004 in United Arab Emirates. There's been other projects above the radar and some under the radar, but today for the first time we're putting our hand up in front of the media to say this is available. We're going to run this project here to break the drought in the Horn of Africa.
And I wonder why we're allowing it. We're allowing it here in the United States, also in Canada, all over the world. Because they're bringing on the fires intentionally. I will link below to this, PDF on Wayback Machine. But that's how they put out the fires in Australia?
Up on Lolo Pass, right on the Idaho border, where a full suppression fire response is underway for the Lolo Creek wildfire, which was reported Saturday evening. As you can see, roads are already closed as crews get to work responding to this fire. Roads into Granite Creek are closed as Missoula Ranger District units respond to this area experiencing extreme fire danger. Lolo Creek Fire Incident Commander J.D. Bauman spoke with MTN News and said the fire is 0% contained and continues to spread and burn actively. Bauman
and expected to grow. The Lolo Creek fire on the border of Idaho in Montana. I was looking at the satellite last night. I couldn't believe how many fires were in Montana. Okay, here, this is another one in Montana.
Musselshell County residents are now under evacuation orders as 3 wildfires in the area continue to grow. Anyone east of Queens Point Road, south of Harvey Road, west of Melstone Custer Road, and north of Alkali Creek Road has been told to leave their homes. The MY Complex fire is now more than 24,000 acres in size. It's made up of the Peterson Fire 12 miles south of Melstone, the Western Road Fire 7 miles east of Roundup, and the Musselshell Trail Fire 15 miles northwest of Custer. Officials say the Peterson Fire is expected to move south due to extreme drought. Crews stayed in the area overnight to monitor its growth.
Extreme drought that can be ended.
It was Armageddon. It was a crazy experience to actually drive into an active wildfire.
But I think if we get at least a 5 or 6 hours notice, we'll be fine.
What you are watching is a video that was posted just today. It's funny how new fires, let's post videos on the old fires. This was the incredibly fatal fires in Oregon last year. Residents blame utility companies.
And we haven't got any notice yet. There it is. Oh, shit. Fire department.
911, what city is your emergency?
We just had a transformer blow and we have a fire up on Lyons.
911 calls from the evening of the 7th reveal a steady stream of power line issues from up and down the canyon. The calls include mentions of down power lines and sparking lines and begin roughly around 7 p.m. when heat maps show the Beachy Creek fire is still around 10 miles east of the town of Gates. OPB identified 13 power line related calls and confirmed 3 instances where available evidence suggests power lines were directly responsible for sparking new fires.
It's obvious that there is power line ignitions, many of them. Started gathering information, talking to people, hearing what people had to say and stuff like that. It became real obvious there was some real strong patterns to the fire.
Ron Carmichael is the mayor of Gates and lost his home in the fires. Almost a year after the tragedy, and without insurance, Carmichael has only now purchased an old manufactured home.
I have a house now. It's not a home yet, you know, and there's a big difference between having a house and a home.
Sorry, I didn't put my mic on. There is a big difference between a house and a home. And a whole lot of people are experiencing that. When you lose everything, and then suddenly, you know, you find yourself lucky enough to have shelter, it's no longer a home. You know, those who are able to, they have the resources to start over and fix up a home. Generally, I'll say, generally speaking, it's people who have a loved one or a family and have resources, they can create a home again. For a whole lot of people, it's just shelter. Home is really important to the human being. So, even though somebody has shelter, do not think that they're okay. There's a whole lot. The ripple effects of all of these disasters, whether they're fire, earthquakes, or volcanoes, or flooding out, you know, areas. Okay. This is Grandview Fire. That fire that was on the satellite that I included in my video yesterday, and I said, you know, this looks like a fire happening. Sure enough, it is a fire happening. So this fire is pushing all of the smoke, you know, into areas that you experienced last year with all of that smoke. You know, it's just, I think it's just southeast of Portland. Grandview Fire, Oregon, another one. But it's really important that, you know, what you just noticed. Utility companies are involved in these horrendous fires. Utility companies modify the weather as well. But when you have all. And did you see it? I just want to make sure that you really did see, you know, I think
it was Armageddon. It was a crazy experience to actually drive into an active wildfire.
But I think if we get at least a 5 or 6 hour notice, we'll be fine. And we haven't got any notice yet. There it is.
Oh, shit.
What was causing that? What caused all of these utility lines to just... What was the surge? Do you know how many homes were lost in the fires in Oregon last year? Okay, so a new fire in Vernon, BC.
It started late Friday night, shortly after 10. Flames quickly climbed a hill off a highway near Coldstream and east of the city of Vernon.
The whole hillside's gone.
By 12:30, officials made the call for a tactical evacuation.
My daughter and son-in-law, and we prepared to evacuate. We packed the cars. We discussed a plan where we would go. Friends were contacting me offering refuge.
Dozens of crew members, the local fire department, helicopters, all worked through the early hours. The fire, which grew to 43 hectares, is under control. The BC Wildfire Service says it isn't expected to spread any further. By morning, the evacuation order had been rescinded. Residents could return home, but an evacuation alert remains in place.
There's the water.
But just as residents were sighing a breath of relief, a second fire was sparked. This one only about 3 kilometers outside of Vernon near Becker Lake.
It is classified as out of control at an estimated 1 hectare in size. We have 4 personnel responding with 2 helicopters and air tanker support and assistance from the local fire department.
Video from a resident who lives nearby shows how the fire looms over the homes below.
Yeah, we're a little nervous right now. We've already got bags packed and personal belongings that we don't want to lose all ready to go in the vehicles. So it's just across the way from us right now. It's not too far. I'm more concerned about the people that live super close to it. They're only not even half a K away from it.
Officials say thanks to the weather, it's mostly climbing up the mountain.
It's a little bit overwhelming at times, but we've got a very good group of people, both here locally as well as within the region. And
you know what a lot of broadcasts are saying? There's a shortage of firemen and women. Well, that seems pretty... With all of these look, resources are running thin, but here's another post today. Campfire posed significant health threat. New study shows.
On the morning of November 8th, 2018, the campfire roared across the foothills of Butte County, killing dozens of people and all but destroying the town of Paradise. But the flames were not the only danger for the people of Paradise and millions of others far away from the fire. Nearly 3 years later, we're now getting a better understanding of what was in the smoke from the campfire. Smoke containing toxins produced from the nearly 19,000 buildings consumed by the fire. The findings are contained in a new report by California Air Resources Board obtained by KCRA3 Investigates. Michael Benjamin, Chief of Air Quality Planning and Science Division at Air Resources Board, says his team's analysis shows spikes of metal contaminants.
Concentrations of these fine particles were about 3 times higher than normal.
Benjamin says even short-term exposure to smoke from the campfire could have a potential serious impact on a person's health because smoke particles can penetrate deep into lungs and into the bloodstream.
Even this short-term exposure might be enough to trigger a heart attack, a stroke. It might result in a hospital admission.
Do we actually know if it's really related to only the fire? 19 homes gutted in Paradise in 24 hours. Okay. Well, I remember people posting videos or leaving comments to my videos on Paradise saying how much you were sprayed in that area. Oh, the geoengineering, the toxic heavy metals, the nanoparticulates of heavy metals, and yes, very toxic. So, look, there are so many ways in which they could create these fires. It's not just one way. Do they use directed energy weapons? Yes. Could it be the plasma fires that, a lot are talking about? The channel, can't remember his first name, Schneider 2 channel. And he shows, these plasma fires, the signatures of the plasma fire. Could it be the surge of electricity that blows out transformers? Could it be the lightning that man can create and has been able to create for 100 years? Could it be? Could it be a natural fire that they just let get out of control? Whip up those winds that, yes, they can whip up the winds with electromagnetic frequencies. Absolutely. There are so many different factors. So please don't leave comments claiming, that or this person knows exactly what's going on. No. No one knows exactly what's going on. But what I do know is that this drought is engineered by man. What I do know is that these fires can be put out. Look at all of this. Look at this. Now, whatever, is taking place right here, this light, this evaporation of whatever kind of cloud manufactured that is, or the haze, that's not natural. This is not natural. The cloud, that seems to be only, and yes, it's a whole lot of nanobots, but the fires, this fire, the fire in Oregon, bootleg, I'd like to say it's lessening because I'm seeing a lot less smoke, along with the Beckworth complex fire in California. Seems to be more fires that are, this I think is the fire in the latest fire, Mendocino, Maricopa counties. Another fire down here. And this is the Grand View fire. Looks like another fire is starting up here in Oregon. And Washington State. Here you have your nanobots ignited. And this is the Lola Creek fire in Montana. This is another fire up here. Can't remember where this is, but don't like it because it's pretty close to where I live. And these are the BC fires, Vernon fire. BC has about 300 fires going. None of this has to happen. None of it. None of it has to happen. We have the technology to put out the fires. This is a whole line of nanobots which are being activated up here in British Columbia. That's not natural cloud. No, well, none of it is anymore. Stay safe, everybody. Stay safe.